Hey guys, it's John Murray. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my garage. We're here in Spring City, Tennessee. It's really cold outside. So when it gets cold outside for me, what I do is I go in and I go with tackle. I got a lot of tackle. This is one of my garages. I have another one in the back that's got more stuff. So tackle's a never ending thing for a bass fisherman, and I've done it for almost 40 years. So I got a lot of tackle. One of the things that if you've ever followed me knows I like to have old lures. I love the history of fishing and some of the stuff and how it was made and where it came from. And today we're going to talk about like the history of a spider grub or a hula grub or something like that. We're going to start where it was made and where it really became popular. And the reason I know it so well is because it really started in Arizona. Bobby Garland is the guy that really started all this, and he was up in Kingman, Arizona at the time. He fished Lake Mead, Lake Mojave, Lake Havasu. He fished all over, but those were his home lakes. And he designed a real simple lure. Back then it's called a Gitsit. And it's just a hollow piece of plastic cut on one end and hollow inside. And now we call them tubes, but this is the Gitsit. This is the original Gitsit that he made. And it was a tremendous bait on a lot of lakes, like Havasu and all these baits. He won so much money on it. Well, he needed a bait for a jig. Back then, we only used vinyl jigs, like vinyl skirts for jigs. It was very stiff, not a lot of action. And he took that same concept with that tube, and he took a skinnier tube, and he cut it on both ends, and he made a spider skirt, what he called it. So basically, when it opened up, it had a nice flow to it. It was beautiful. It was perfect. It had a good, you could take a jig head, put the spider skirt on, and we'd take a Mr. Twister double tail and thread it on there, and you'd have this beautiful jig. They made them in a lot of colors. You know, Bassaman Lures was a later one of Bobby's companies that he made. And basically, that's where the whole spider grub came from. It was huge in Arizona, huge on the West Coast. Basically, when I started fishing, I'd make a bag of jigs. I'd just make a whole bag of them, 50 or 60 jigs, and that's what I'd fish. And I'd throw them in any sizes from 1/4 ounce all the way up to 1 ounce. The West is where they made the football head. They made it so they needed a lot of weight in a small package, and the football head was the way to do it. So that's where it came from. We used 3/4, 1/2, 5/8 ounce football heads for years. As it progressed, there was another company out there making double tails called Twin T's. And these little tails were nice. They were smaller, but they were a nice finesse jig. And what happened is Gary Yamamoto himself bought Twin T's and made Yamamoto lures. And that's where he came out with the hula grub. This is a timeline of 20 years where Garland sort of got out of it more. Bobby Garland got out of it more. Gary Yamamoto sort of took it over with the hula grub. And basically, Gary introduced so many colors. I think that's where it really became popular because you could match any color you wanted. And so the spider jig, the original spider jig from Bobby Garland spawned a lot of baits. And this is the progress of how now. And now there's tons of them. You look at for any kind of double tails, even rage tails, stuff like that are basically followed off this kind of spider grub with the skirt on it and everything. The beauty of the old ones is you could mix and match them. I'd take, we'd have 20 or 30 different colors of the skirts and 20 or 30 different colors of the tails and just mix and match them. You can make your own confidence colors and catch fish on them. So that was really what I liked about it. And the beauty of a spider jig out west is you could catch them in 1 foot of water or you could catch them in 50 feet of water. So that was really where I liked it. I could, in a lake like Roosevelt, where I grew up in Arizona, you could literally catch them top to bottom. And you'd catch them in 50, 60 feet. You could catch them in 1 foot of water. And if you had one bait you could throw and catch them in all that, that was great. And the 1 ounce spider jig, I think, really became a popular lure out west because it was so easy to fish in that deep water. A 1 ounce lure sinks to the bottom. You could hit that. We had a lot of rock bottoms out there, a lot of river rock, and you take that 1 ounce spider jig, get it out in 30, 40 feet, and just bang it on the rocks. You could just feel it, bump, 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 and those fish would come and smash it. You just draw them over. I know if any of you have ever watched, divers when they clack rocks together, you can see bass come to you. And so that was the same philosophy we used to do with the 1 ounce spider jig on the rocks. Just get it down on those rocks and just lift it, just pound it on the rocks, and pretty soon a bass come over and smash it. Now, not to say it still doesn't work, it probably does, but that's the history of the spider jig, from Bobby Garland inventing the Gets It or the tube, all the way to all the different variations there are now. Still a favorite lure of mine. Now you can use weedless heads. You can use, we used to have 50 or 60 of them in a bag because we always used open hook jigs. And you get into an area that had a lot of brush or big rocks, you were breaking them off. So that was the purpose for that. So anyway, the history of the Spider Grub is another one that I love. Look forward to telling you some more. I got a lot of baits that I have after 40 years of fishing, especially out of the West, that basically started a lot of the fads across the country. So we're going to look at that on this channel in the next few months. And on these cold days, it's a good thing to do. Get in your tackle room and see what you got. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we're going to get out some more soon. And hope everyone's having a great off season. Bye.